This week, I come over to Boundary Island in Lingshui County. 你看我们身后有一大片蓝色的海，然后中间有一个孤独的白色的帆船，真的绝对太美了哈。Where I engage in light conversation with denizens of the deep. 这些鱼就是跟着我们。Descend to the seabed and do my bit for environmental protection. So swim with me as we dive below the surface and go in search of this island's buried treasure. The annual mean temperature on Boundary Island is 25 degrees Celsius. Boundary Island can be found bobbing in the sea just southeast of the island of Hainan. At its nearest point, it is 1.2 nautical miles, that's 2.2 kilometers, off the coast of the island of Hainan, which means if you want to get to it, you must first take a ferry. Boundary Island has an area of just 0.41 square kilometers. It has been bestowed with pristine tropical island resources, and it takes just 10 minutes to get to. As soon as I step off the ship, there's this overwhelming feeling of being on holiday. There are no cars on the island, so it's lovely and quiet, and look how clear the water is. I can see right to the bottom and all the profusion of tropical fish that swim within. Boundary Island boasts plentiful ocean resources. Guide Xing Zhenbao introduces the island to guests on a daily basis. 分界洲的这个名字还真的是把小岛分成两个部分吗？
是的，从行政上来说，它是把海南的邻水县和万宁市分开。从气候上来说，分界洲岛与对面的牛岭相对望，形成一个分界线。以南是热带海洋性季风气候，以北是热带海洋性气候，所以形成一个牛头下雨牛尾晴的气候景观。
哇，真的很奇特哈！一上这个小岛，看到这么多美丽的风景哈，我的心情瞬间就变得特别好。所以这里也是心灵分界线哈。
是的，是的。
The island is just 99 meters above sea level at its highest point. Strolling along its shady streets is a pleasant and surprisingly cool affair.
我们为了保护这个海岛的一个原生态，只开发了1/3。如果说我们要逛这个岛屿，您可以选择步行，时间大约是1个小时左右。为了图方便，您也可以选择坐电瓶车环岛一圈。
Viewing platforms have been installed at various vantage points.
通过这个平台从上往下看，看到大海拍击在峡谷上卷起千堆雪的画面，非常的壮观。
Here, the land and the sea seem to merge together seamlessly, as though in a vast watercolor painting.
这里是分界洲岛的爱琴海岸，蓝天、白云、青山、绿水，还有礁石和洁白的沙滩，组成了一个非常浪漫的一个符号。
On the west of the island, there is a small bay where the sea is calm. This section is proving as popular with tourists as it is with newlyweds.
打造了一个拍摄婚纱为主题的地点，为了丰富这个地点，还建了一个初见亭。
看到了，那为什么叫初见亭呢？
恋人相遇的一瞬间，怦然的心动，这一份热情和感觉流到了拍婚纱照的那一天。
好浪漫的，保留那种一见钟情的感觉哈。
是的，是的。
To make any visit all the more varied, a range of props and artifacts has been added. Meanwhile, on the east of the island, a totally unique wedding venue is available for soon-to-be married couples. 哇，我怎么感觉来到了古代罗马呢？
是的，这里是月光古堡，举行欧式婚礼的一个地方。中间这块位置是新人举行仪式的地方，上面4排是嘉宾落座的地方，背靠青山，面对大海。看着新人之间许下了白首不分离的诺言，印证了我们中国对爱情忠贞不渝的一个词语，叫海誓山盟。
真的很震撼，也非常有仪式感。It doesn't get much more romantic than making your vows here, where the sky, sea, and land meet. In an effort to introduce visitors, especially children, to the joys of marine life, a so-called ocean theatre has been set up on the island.
海洋剧场呢，划分了几个区域，这边是我们的海龟区，他们的年纪都在100多岁以上。
There are 10 plus green sea turtles residing here that were rescued from the surrounding seas. 这种海龟是什么品种啊？
这个叫绿海龟。
那为什么叫绿海龟啊？我看它们颜色不怎么绿哎。
因为它体内的这个脂肪是绿色的。
哇，好神奇。Although green sea turtles are omnivorous, they tend to eat a large amount of seaweed. The green pigment from their food accumulates in their body fat turning it green, and this is how they get their name. 那怎么判断出来它的年龄？
它的龟壳特别大，而且又厚，纹路比较深，是以此来判断它的年龄的。当然，这个呢是有专家专门鉴定过的。
那是。As amazing is the fact that the sex of a green sea turtle can be determined by looking at its tail.
有一些尾巴短的就是女生，尾巴长的就是男生了。龟的话，它也是一种比较长寿的动物，所以它就有健康、平安、吉祥的一个象征。
龟是个好东西。Compared to the turtles that greedily snatch for their food, dolphins are much gentler.
全球呢，一共有62种不同品种的海豚，这个是其中的一种，叫斑点圆海豚。斑点如果是特别多的话，就代表它的年纪越大。
这样子。Dolphins' intellectual capacity estimated to be that of a 3 to 5-year-old child.
海豚靠回声来定位目标的远近跟方向的，您在水边拍拍手，它就会游过来的。
Nice.
海豚有一个海上救生员的美称，如果我们在大海当中遇到危难，海豚的话都会出手帮助我们人类的。有过这样的先例不？有过。我们看来咱们这个海豚很有灵性哈。
The sea lion is a familiar mammal. Its unique superpower.
我们这些海狮都是南非引进过来的，它有一对小耳朵，但是呢，它辨别声音呢是靠胡须来分辨的。
靠胡须？
对，它的胡须上面分布着很多的神经系统，它在海里面能够探测到几十海里外的声音呢。
通过这个可以感受到东西是吧？
对，
千万不要刮胡子啊。Besides seeing the animals on dry land, there is one very special way in which visitors can view them at close quarters. 透明船。这些鱼都是跟着我们，
知道我们有吃的。
他们这么聪明，
对，
就在里面。
扔远一点，抢食的速度的话就稍微快一点。哇
！The main attraction of the tropical fish viewing area is whitefin pomfret, each of which weighs up to 10 kilograms.
透明船的话呢，主要是让游客能够近距离的观赏鱼。你看这鱼的话，都在我们脚底下呢。
Well, I've never been in a transparent boat before, and it's quite an interesting feeling sitting here, bobbing up and down on the water with all these very large and slightly aggressive, obviously very hungry fish swimming round and round and round. It's a very, very odd feeling. It's almost as though I'm swimming with them. These sea creatures, it would seem, are not only mysterious in their own special way, they are also highly talented individuals. 训练这些动物让他们表演，会不会伤害他们的身体呢？
不会伤害到他们的，因为呢，我们有比较严谨一点的这个专业训练，也会给他们做一个定期的全身检查，
就像一个人一样嘛，就每年有个体检。I like this kind of ocean park, ocean theatre place because it really raises our awareness of animals, of the natural environment, and how we as humans must do our best to protect them and it. Inside the Ocean Theatre, visitors can find the Coral Exhibition. The exhibition is divided into the living coral section and the coral specimen section.
珊瑚是腔肠动物，每个单体呢都有一只珊瑚虫，它只有米粒般大小。
那意思是一个虫子把这个珊瑚修建起来吗？
对。
Coral forms in groups. Feeding on microorganisms, the coral polyp secretes limestone. Over the centuries and millennia, it slowly forms reefs and even whole islands.
它的生长速度是比较缓慢的，每年呢只长2.5厘米。
哇，这么一点点。
对，就有一句话叫做"千年珊瑚万年红，万年珊瑚赛黄金"，就有一个这么说法了。
Without any doubt, coral is one of the sea's must-sees. Unfortunately, due to global warming, it is now crucial that we restore the ailing coral reefs. Boundary Island holds an annual activity to raise awareness of marine conservation, and it just so happens that I've wangled an invite to this year's. Now let's go and make some coral. Wu Zhongjie works in the field of research and protection of marine organisms and their ecosystems, and therefore works with coral all the time. As one of the participants in this year's event, he is going to teach me how to plant coral by hand. 保护珊瑚为什么那么重要呢？
因为珊瑚呢能够形成一些珊瑚礁，对消减海浪、保护海岸能够起到很好的作用。
Moreover, coral can purify the water and regulate the climate.
珊瑚有丰富的生物多样性、绚丽多彩的一个景观性，能够满足人们休闲、旅游、观光、科普教育等等。
When breeding coral, there are two methods. One is sexual reproduction, and the other is asexual reproduction.
有性繁殖主要是收集珊瑚的受精卵以及它的珊瑚幼体，在适宜的环境下进行一个培育。珊瑚的无性繁殖主要是通过一些珊瑚一节一节的断枝，通过不同的基底，在海床底下进行一个珊瑚的货房。
The planting of coral also requires high-quality water.
我们这边水质都是一类水质，所以说水流也比较畅通，透明度也比较高，还是比较适合珊瑚种植的一个水质环境。
For this procedure, we adopt the asexual reproduction method for broken pieces of coral. 种植珊瑚需要注意哪些手法？
种植珊瑚的时候，可以利用扎带呀或卡扣固定这个珊瑚的植株，一般会选择5到10厘米珊瑚断枝。
为什么这么大？
为了保护种源，提高珊瑚种植的一个成活力，又能够对母株没有太大的那个伤害。
After a rudimentary introduction on the theory, both Wu Zhongjie and I change into our diving gear and are ready to plant some coral. I think I'm ready to go and plant some coral, so let's go. At the time we plant the coral, the water quality is excellent and the water is crystal clear, perfect coral planting conditions. The planting area is located in shallow water between 4 and 6 meters down. The coral seedlings have already been placed onto the seabed in advance, and Wu Zhongjie shows me how to plant them correctly. Then I have a go myself. The coral reef ecosystem is also known as an underwater tropical rainforest. Boundary Island started its coral conservation project very early on. Therefore, the coral coverage in its shallows has already reached between 40 and 50%. 那老师，我种植这个珊瑚种的什么样？大的很稳，真的啊！哎呀，你们教的好。The ocean is home to so much life. The seed that I plant today is but a symbol of our hope that we can still save this boundless blue world. Having seen for myself the frenzy of colours on the seafloor, I really want to explore further this aquatic environment. Taking a PADI course, then, seems the obvious choice.
欢迎来参加我们PADI的体验潜水课程。
谢谢。Focusing on teaching the basic principles of scuba diving, the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, among the most common of which include training towards the Open Water Diving Certificate and the Advanced Open Water Diving Certificate.
开放水域潜水员课程能下到最深的深度18米。随着你对潜水的越来越热爱，我们可以往上面进阶。比如说我们的进阶开放潜水员课程啊，下到的深度在30米左右。
If you are not sure whether this is really your thing or not, then you can do what I do and enroll on a one-day PADI basic scuba diver course, which is designed to ease you in gently. 那这个1天的这个体验是有什么要求吗？
比如说我们一定要身体健康啊。
Before we begin the class, I must fill out a form indicating any health issues so that my instructor may assess my physical fitness.
水面是有压力的，每下10米会增加一个大气压。
The first technique to learn is how to release the pressure in my ears.
有2种方法啊，第一种左右活动下巴加咽口水，第二种方法捏鼻子鼓气，嘴巴先吸口气，然后闭上，捏住鼻子，鼻子往外面呼气，气出不来，它会往耳朵两边鼓，
有点感觉。
每下半米或者1米的时候，我们就开始平衡一次。平衡耳压是非常重要的啊，无法平衡的话啊，我们就要给教练打这个手势，停止下潜，好吧？啊，没问题，你平衡开了，给我打个 OK 手势，那我们就继续下潜，我会给你打这手势，好吧？如果你忘记平衡，我会给你打这手势。对，捏鼻子鼓气的意思，好吧？啊，
是不是每个手势都有
不同的
意思？
对对啊，比如说啊，这个手势是代表方向啊，上升啊，
不是给你点赞。
不是点赞的意思，然后不舒服，哪里不舒服我们可以指哪里。如果我们下到海底的话，我会给你打这手势啊，游动起来啊，到随时会关注你的在水下的状态啊，会给你打这手势 ，OK 啊，那你要记得给我回啊，
还是这个？
对。
Having mastered the underwater hand signals, we turn our attention to the diving mask.
压住袋子，然后放后脑勺这边啊，上面不要压住头发，然后两边不要压住耳朵。
It is possible that water will leak into your face mask while underwater, so learning how to get rid of that water is of paramount importance.
第一时间要先低头看下面，水会停留到鼻槽这边，按住面镜上宽这2个位置，因为在水下气体是从下往上走了。如果你不按紧面镜，气泡的话会从面镜上沿出来。嘴巴深吸口气，然后鼻子持续的呼气。慢慢抬头看上面，做完以后低头下来看一下面镜里面的水排干净没有。
Then, to complete the outfit, the scuba diving equipment itself.
这个是气瓶，里面装的是压缩空气，和我们现在呼吸的空气是一样的，所以它会比较干燥。那么在水下的呼吸，尽量要深呼吸，慢吐气。
这个东西在水底下能用多久呢？
这个是很好的一个问题，会和我们深度有关。你在越深的地方，它耗气就越快。
Among the many gadgets is an air pressure gauge, allowing the user to monitor how much oxygen is left.
看到红色这个区域没有？
哎，50，
就代表我们空气不多了。怎么给教练比手势呢？就是捶胸口，我只剩下50%气，这是60，
不能这样子，
不能这样子好吧我们现在是多少
？120整。A breathing device is a prerequisite when plunging beneath the waves.
牙齿轻轻咬住牙槽两边，带紧它就行了。嘴巴呈 O 型嘴巴包住。
If water should inadvertently seep into your mouth, there are 2 ways of dealing with this.
一种是猛吹法，往这个咬嘴这边吐，它就会从这边单向排水排出来。那么还有第2种方法，按压法。我们背部有个按钮，按2下，按的时候舌头可以堵住这个，等水排完以后再恢复呼吸就可以了。如果在水下没有气了，打这个手势，给我备用气源。左手边还有一个装置冲排气阀，按这个就充气按钮。
When ascending or descending, you will need to inflate or deflate your life jacket accordingly.
我们要排气下潜，一定要高举它因为水压是从下往上压的，在水面上就排气。当你头没过水面以后，吐气，人往下走了，我们这个就放下来
When we ascend, we also need to let out the air as appropriate.
因为上来的时候，空气体积会膨胀，浮力会增大，增加我们的上升速度。如果你失控上升的话，是一个非常危险的一件事。比如说，我们开车的时候没有刹车了，我们潜水的话，上升速度不超过18米每分钟，所以我们潜水的话，往上走，排点气。到达水面以后，第一时间给它充饱气，起到一个救生衣的作用。
After learning the basics in theory, I don the wetsuit and all the kit. Now, it's time to put the theory into practice. Well, I've been diving twice before in Hainan, but this is the first time that I've had a theory class of diving. And how much I can remember remains to be seen. Before I dive, I need to go through the skills that I have just learned once again. I can't put this in my forehead, so I'm making progress because apparently I've just performed the 2 ways of expelling water when it gets into your mouth. And I passed apparently, so I'm making progress all the time, which is good. The problem is this is too loose and I think I just leaked a bit of water. Oh dear. After a short break, the practice resumes. Firstly, we deflate ourselves and dive down. We then need to release the pressure in our ears. After having mastered a few techniques, I start to enjoy the impressive views down below, all under the expert guidance of my instructor. Wow! Whoa! What a wonderful sense of freedom swimming around under there. There are lots of things to remember. I had to juggle a few things in my little head. For example, I had to keep reminding myself to breathe through my mouth, which wasn't easy. Difficult, but ultimately very rewarding. When my trial lesson with Paddy finishes, The night gently falls over the island. With the brisk sea breeze refreshing me, I make my way over to my room, a sea view wooden cabin where I intend to spend my time listening to the waves and gazing at the stars. 哦，这里感觉很齐全的哈，风格就特别的温馨哈，还有4柱大床啊。
整个房子哈，它都是以木质结构的，跟外面的原生态的一个雨林融为一体。
The guest rooms on the island are either sheltered by lush trees or perched on robust-looking rocks. The winding paths will lead you to tranquil places. The ambience is quiet and almost poetic. 那些细节都做到了，感觉住在森林里面一样。
是的，那这个房间最大的亮点在外面。
Oh, look at that! Staying here for a night will be absolutely superb. To my rear, a natural forest. Before me, the deep blue sea and nature's music, the crashing of the waves to send me off to sleep. When I behold the sea, I instantly feel at ease, and all my troubles just seem to wash away. I intend to make the most of the short time I have here. My first visit to Boundary Island has been a truly unforgettable experience. Not only have I taken in the magnificent views and the romantic ambience, but I've learned much about sea creatures, their natural habitat, and what we must do to protect them. I've even done my own bit to save the planet by planting some coral, which I hope will one day grow into a reef. Coming here has made me realize that wherever we are in the world, we can all do our bit to conserve the marine environment. Boundary Island is a magical little island that has drawn many a sea lover to its bosom. The summer holidays are going to start soon, so what are you waiting for? Boundary Island awaits you and yours to discover your very own treasure.
这里是海南卫视。